Well, welcome everyone. We're glad that you're here. This morning we are gonna chat with Pastor Hogan Brock. Woohoo! And Hogan, thanks for letting us put you on the spot and get to know you a little bit better. You've had the unique opportunity to take a role at a church in the midst of a pandemic, and you haven't probably met face to face everyone, and definitely not everyone, but maybe you've only met face to face half the people in our congregation, and likely
maybe
only
less than that.
Maybe less than that, and likely only one time in passing or something. Or so thanks for being here and letting us get to know you a little bit better. Yeah, I know you pretty well because we've been working together now for how many months? 5?
7?
Oh, 7?
I think.
I can't highlight you. That's all right.
Can I highlight myself?
Yeah, sure you can. Well, tell us about yourself.
Tell us about myself.
Where are you from?
Where am I from?
At 7th Street.
What do I do at 7th Street? So I grew up in Rome, Georgia, which is like an hour northwest of Atlanta, and lived there until I went to college. I went to college at Carson-Newman University, which is near Knoxville, Tennessee.
A friend of mine went there.
Yeah. There are oddly a lot of people in Richmond who went to Carson-Newman. It's a really weird discovery in moving here. So went to school at Carson-Newman in Jefferson City. Met my wife Rachel there. We got married the day she graduated in December, and then I had one semester left. And so she worked while I finished school. And then we moved to Chicago, where we did a program called Mission Year, and volunteered full-time and lived in a house with a bunch of people who were also volunteering full-time. And then after that, moved to Richmond to go to Baptist Theological Seminary at Richmond, which promptly closed about a semester after I began. And so then did very briefly for 1 quarter, did an online program at Iliff School of Theology in Denver. At which point the program I was doing there ended. The school still exists, but the program ended. And so I took the rest of the semester off and began at Eastern Mennonite. When was that? I guess 4 semesters ago now. So now I'm here.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious about what was that mission year in Chicago like? Because that then was really also your first full year of marriage.
Yeah, it was really crazy. It was really crazy. So just as some background, when you do mission year as a married couple, you're given another married couple who's done mission year, or one of them has done mission year, to kind of be your mentor for the year. And our mentors told us pretty quickly that we were insane for doing it in our first year of marriage, because so the timeline is we got married. We were married for about 4.5 months. Then we moved in with my parents to raise money to support ourselves for the year. So 4.5 months married, my wife is living with her in-laws, which is just like, we get along, but that's uncomfortable. And then, so we did that this summer, and then we moved in a house with 8 strangers, which is just a strange way to begin a marriage. So that was, it was very intense. I think we learned a lot about our relationship very quickly. In some ways, I do think it was kind of, I think it sped some parts of our marriage up, that we got to go through a pretty intense experience like that really early on in our marriage. So while I was in Chicago, I worked at a legal center as a volunteer coordinator. I ran a mentor program for people 25 and under in the North Lawndale neighborhood of Chicago who were in contact with the criminal justice system. And so the legal center provided free legal support for kids and young adults who are in contact with the criminal justice system. And so that was, yeah, I learned a tremendous amount there, and a lot about restorative justice. I was there when the first restorative justice community court was founded in the United States, which is, it's just a different way of doing justice. In Chicago and a lot of cities, Black and brown people are over-policed and underrepresented in the criminal justice system, particularly. And so the community court tried to bring the neighborhood's voice back into its own justice. And the idea behind restorative justice is that no one, regardless of the crime, is beyond restoration, beyond being restored to the community. And the way that that happens is, instead of plucking people out of their community and dislocating them away from their support systems, that you surround them with their community and their neighborhood so that they can restore the harm that they've done. And so it's an officially sanctioned court in Cook County, which is the county around Chicago. When I left, I'm trying to think if they've stepped it up anymore, but when I've left, they could do anything that wasn't sexual battery or any level of murder, manslaughter, anything like that could be tried in the community court. And yeah, just incredible restoration that happened there to see people get a second chance, get mentorship. So anyway.
Yeah, that's really neat. Thanks for sharing. And I'm sure you learned a lot in that experience. So that's really incredible. So then you came to Richmond. How have you enjoyed Richmond?
How have I enjoyed Richmond? Yeah, so Richmond, I do enjoy Richmond. That's what I'll say. So moving from Chicago was the first really huge city that Rachel and I had ever lived in. Rachel grew up in Roanoke. Rome is very small where I grew up, Jefferson City, where the college was really small. So moving to a mid-size city was kind of I guess a good middle point for us. So we've enjoyed that Richmond does have a good bit to offer that urban areas have to offer. It's not quite the level of a Chicago or a New York or something like that, but yeah, so we've enjoyed that. We've found friends here. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
What new hobbies have you gotten into here in Richmond?
Here in Richmond, I've always liked board games, but I've found a group of friends who really enjoy board games, have exposed me to some new ones. I've started before the pandemic, started playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is quite fun. That's something you think you would discover when you're a teenager, right? But I discovered it at 25.
I'm actually, that is not at all what I anticipated you saying. I'm like, not to say like after 7 months that I knew everything about you. I mean, of course not. That's unreasonable. But I just would have thought like board game conversations would have come up by now. But wow. Okay. So you like board games?
I love games. Yeah. Started cycling during the pandemic, bought a bike. I like to ride my bike. Yeah. I think those are most of my hobbies. I like the NBA quite a bit.
Excellent. Friends, as you're joining us, we invite you to also ask any questions in the chat of Hogan, and we'll try to see if he'll answer those. So there you go. Yeah, how are you? Tell me what do you think it's like pastoring during a pandemic, especially as you haven't met a quarter of or 2/3 of the congregation.
Yeah. It's been interesting. There are things that so like as we start hitting major markers in the Christian calendar, like we got to Advent, there are normally, like when I've worked in other congregations, there's a precedent for what's going to happen, right? Like this is kind of our tradition, this is our rhythm. And so you expect kind of in the first year that you're at a church to learn those sorts of things. But those things have been kind of so offset from from what's normal. And so that's been one of the interesting things about pastoring in a pandemic. It feels like there's almost a blank slate to everything. I think Holly, from the things that you've done and the things that the worship team has kind of led us in, I think we've tried to root ourselves in some of the traditions that 7th Street has. But there's been a remarkable amount of freedom to try new things and see what Mary Lib just said to do a promo for for reading the Bible is easy-ish. But yeah, it's been pretty cool to see what new things and what flexible things we can kind of build in, what's meaningful over a distance. It's stripped away some of the stuff. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, well, you've been great. I mean, so incredibly flexible and creative, open-minded about, like, you know, how is it we navigate what's ahead of us when we've never done it before. You know, I've never done it before, things like that. So I think we've learned a lot. And always appreciate your input and creativity, especially when coming up with ideas like reading the Bible is easy-ish. And I'll let you do a quick promo for that. What is that? If people
reading the Bible is easy-ish. Yeah, so I think Holly and I both have encountered questions at different times about or maybe just hesitation in engaging the Bible, or I don't know. I think for a lot of people, like genuine fear of like, man, I'm going to mess this up, or I'm not going to get this. And so reading the Bible is easy-ish is an attempt at the beginning of each week to engage the scripture that we're going to really dive into on Sunday, and just to open it up. So far, it's been seminary trained folks, and so there are some tools in the tool bag that non-seminary folks might not have, but we just kind of try to open the Bible up and give it our best shot, and break the ice with a little bit, and hopefully make it a little bit easier to engage. So yeah.
Well, your first 2 episodes I think have been fun, so well done.
Thanks.
Who are you interviewing this week?
This week, right after, at 1:30, I'm talking to Harrison Litzel. He's a friend from college, went to McAfee School of Theology in Atlanta, and is currently the director of a preschool program. So his perspective will be much more very young children's ministry. So I'm excited to talk to him.
Oh, neat.
Hogan, is it live? Is
It
it
is
something
not
we
live.
can tune into? It is not. Okay.
No. I typically record on Sunday afternoons or early Monday morning, and then it gets sent out Monday afternoon.
Okay, thanks.
There are a couple questions in the chat, Hogan. Dave and Diane are asking, what type of work does your wife Rachel do, and do you have any pets?
So Rachel is a Salesforce administrator. So Salesforce is a customer relationship management platform. She just started doing that about a year ago. Before that, she was a volunteer coordinator. Both of those jobs are at Higher Achievement Richmond, which works with middle school kids in Richmond public schools who are typically like B, C, or D students, and they try to prepare them to get into good high schools. So they do an after-school mentorship program, that sort of thing. Do I have any pets? I had a pet until about a week and a half ago. She's alive and well. So
Her Loggy got concerned. She's like, oh dear.
I saw Cheryl grab her heart.
Yes, I forgot you had a cat.
Yeah, we had a cat named Jenny who now lives with Holly. So Rachel and I in July-ish are moving to Toronto, Canada, as I just kind of to finish up some education stuff. So Holly volunteered to be a new home for her, and it felt like the right time to go ahead and make that transition. So yeah. And I see Pat asked about Helen, Georgia. That's about 2 hours east, but kind of same longitude, latitude. I don't know. But yeah, still North Georgia, about 2 hours east.
Yeah,
Nice.
Helen's a neat little place.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
That's great. Any other last questions or anything else you want to share with us before we wrap up, Pastor Hogan?
I don't think so.
No. Do y'all have any other last questions? Those of you online who have joined us.
Is there anything you don't like about Richmond?
Anything I don't like about Richmond? There are things that I wish Richmond had. I don't think there are things that I like actively
Okay.
dislike though. Yeah.
Like
Like I
what?
wish
Yeah,
I
like-
wish public transportation was better. Like I really
Yeah.
loved public
Yeah.
transportation in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. I do wish there was. I really enjoyed being in a city with this like professional sports teams. Like that was just a lot of fun. Yeah, just things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Let's see. Well, what are you looking forward to for Toronto?
I don't even know, right? Like, yeah, I mean, part of the reason that Rachel and I are doing this is we have known that we wanted to live internationally at some point, just to kind of have that life experience. And so, yeah, we're just excited to do something else, to see a new place, to see a different culture, even though it's just not that far from the U.S. border. But yeah, so we're excited about that.
Yeah, that is really exciting and just something new and different. And I love Toronto.
We
So-
went there years ago and we were impressed about how clean everything was. Very
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. Now have you been to Toronto yet, Hogan?
Nope. Well, when we move into our apartment, that'll be the first time we've ever set foot in Toronto. So
Oh.
that's how we do it, though. Like that's how we did it with Richmond. That's how we did it with Chicago. So
That is like a
Works
big
so
old leap of faith. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, Toronto is absolutely gorgeous. And as Pat said, it was clean the last time I was there and lots to do. And we wish you the very best. And we're glad that we still have you for a few more months. And actually we get you a little bit longer with this transition because you're actually staying a little bit longer with us than you would have with just your internship. So
Yeah, that's true.
we are grateful. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning and getting to know you and sharing about yourself. And yeah, we'll continue to get to know you over the next few months, Hogan.
Yeah.
Thank you.